Yo, give me some wisdom for the camera.
Wisdom.
Oh! Close up of your beard.
Is it?
Because it's got like lovely rain in it.
You know the way people do like, like the close up of dew on a fern.
Yeah, you're my fern. We're here in Carrick. We've just come up a new track that's been built, I guess, over lockdown. I saw it last week with Ross Ennis, and we're here today. Me and Nick, we're going to be sectioning it and looking for sections that I guess pose a bit of an issue for us or that we just love, and basically work our way down. If we come across problems, fix them and try go through some sections with you guys as well and see if maybe there's something that you can learn from today. Yeah, like that's my goal all the time, is to just come home from every spin having worked on something. Sometimes we're subconsciously working through stuff, but today we're going to consciously work through a few little problems. And Nick's actually going to throw this section now. Here, I'll leave my bike there and I'll just go up and look at you get lit in this section.
Oh, Loretta, your darling, put your record on. Do.
Go on, Nick. Well, it's actually quite a big ditch. So Nick said he's going to scrub this like Bubba Stewart. Yo, we found this mound that goes over an old wall, and the guys have obviously smoothed it out so that you can, you know, carry speed over it, but it also looks like a really good opportunity to scrub. I actually haven't ridden it yet, but it looks like it's going to be ideal, and this is going to be our first challenge. Teach Nick how to scrub, because you've never scrubbed before.
Not even the floor.
Not even the floor.
Not even my body.
Nick's going to demo what he thinks a scrub consists of.
The advice of turning was smart.
Yeah.
But the two times I kind of rolled it, I was too far back on the bike, I think, because I ended up sitting on the saddle.
You need to lean into it.
By the time I got to the top. So I think if I'm more over the front, that will be fine.
Yep.
Because you kind of steep enough at the other side. And then literally, you don't even need to lift off. If you just turn, it'll kind of pop your back end up, I guess, because it's like turning with no support.
Yeah, and you don't need to get that much air for it to constitute doing a scrub.
That's kind of the idea.
And the idea of it is actually to get minimal air. Or maybe I should ride it now, just to actually see if this is going to work. Yo! So just on your last clip there, Nick, instead of kind of like you're still doing the natural thing, which is to actually jump the mound, but instead of popping as much, just let the bike take off the ground naturally just from your speed and the way it's angled, but also obviously still try to control the way it leaves the ground. Just don't like add to it, because I think the whole purpose of a scrub is minimal air, like as minimal air as possible.
Are you like pushing into the landing, or the landing comes up to you because you squashed the takeoff?
You're like pushing through the lip, but you have to also then make sure that you're not just pushing through the lip and then getting air later on and then just like going out far but not high. You want to like take away that energy by nearly going through it. So nearly like the lip isn't there.
So should I like let the bars come up into my chest?
As
I reach the top, push the bike down away from me?
Yeah, you push it away. So as you're cresting, you push it away. And yeah, like as you're going up the lip, you're actually letting the bars come to you, and you're also going towards them a bit. Okay. Because your elbows need to be aggressive and high, because it's actually it's an aggressive act to scrub, and it's a very intentional act. You don't scrub by mistake. Yeah, you're hitting it like a berm, but it... Yeah.
So I'm like gonna like absorb it like a roller and then push it away when I get to the top.
But in a cornering style.
Yeah. Okay.
You're using a cornering technique on a lip, which is obviously pretty weird.
So it would be like if you're doing cone turns on flat, where you have to lean the bike quite a lot and stay kind of somewhat upright.
Yeah, so like people are really comfortable with scrubs can actually like lean into it and have their body sideways, but overall your torso is generally pointing fairly vertical, but your bike's a lot more leaned over, because that means you can keep that downward pressure, and the downward pressure means the bike's going to be low. So the bike needs to be low, and then you come up the lip, center, and then towards the end you start to corner off, and then you fade away as it fades away, but you're not popping it like a normal jump, because the whole point of a scrub, like we said, is minimal air.
Okay.
And it's about getting the wheels back on the ground quickly and carrying that speed.
Yeah. Okay, I think I know what I'm going to try to do.
All right, so try it again. I'm going to actually video you from behind, just to see what your entry's like. There is going to be a preferential side when you start scrubbing, and this may actually be your weaker side, because we're the opposite foot forward, and that's my strong side for scrubbing. If I had to pick one side, I'd pick this. So I think you possibly are at a disadvantage already. But yeah, just focus maybe this time on not leaving the ground per se. Really like corner into it, and you're cornering up the lip. So it's like people that carve up a lip, say for a big whip. It's the same thing, but instead of them carving up the lip, leaving and turning their wheel outwards, you're turning your wheel inwards the whole time to continue that cornering arc.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so like a motocrosser goes up, they kind of go up the lip, and then their wheel goes like that, whereas you're going to go up the lip and just keep cornering
the same way.
Down. Yeah.
Gotcha, yeah. I'm thinking I need to treat this more like pumping a roller. And just like throw a turn in. I can still do better. Now I'm just squatting over a roller.
It was actually kind of a cool approach that time. You kind of toned it back. Instead of trying to get any air, you actually tried to focus on the cornering part of it and get your head around that. Like, this is not going to come straight away.
And then I got to the top.
Yeah.
And my tires dug in. And it just kind
straightens
of
you
me
up. It's like pulling your brakes going into a turn. You just get straightened up.
On weight at the very top so that you can not let your tires touch so much and stand you up.
If you don't correct yourself and you've got this sweet angle, you either need to be drifting or you're just going to do an actual turn off the lip and then point a completely different direction.
Yeah.
You know? Because if you're not losing traction on the lip, you're just going to turn off track. Or if you're losing traction off the lip, you can probably still keep your wheels roughly on the ground.
It's weird.
It's kind of a grey area thing, and there's not just one way of doing a scrub.
You know, like generally when you're doing something, you can kind of relate the feeling to what you're doing.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel like
This isn't relatable for you.
it doesn't like I'm like, oh, I did that. And I'm like, well, that didn't feel like that looks.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when you like hit a turn good and like lean your shoulder and you're like, oh yeah, that felt like that looks.
Yes.
This is like, this feels so alien.
That's
like it's not, the feedback is weird. It's almost like the opposite to what you think it should be.
I can't really remember how I learned scrubs. I think it could have been one of those slow burners that one day I realised I was just doing them. Yo! He's going back up. We've also just realised that this mound does lend itself very well to being scrubbed because there is an angle change afterwards. You come in at this angle, and then as you get towards the top, it shifts and then points that way. So there's a slight angle change going from, say, there to there. Got that smile on your face. It's like it's starting to click, isn't it? Like your brain's like, oh, okay, I'm working through this problem now. Your body and your torso still go in the original direction, but your bike can be leaning and it can be going sideways, but you're always moving forward.
Yeah.
Whoa! Yeah, but I think you also got traction. I think with these things, like, so see the way you start to lean, and then if you start to kind of doubt yourself or go, oh, I don't like this, or pull your back brake, it instantly stands you straight up.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened. So you run back up there, Pedro, and you just pop it again. Here, come back here, give me some wisdom for the camera.
I don't have wisdom.
You do.
I don't.
It's like we only came across this mound by chance. It wasn't like we pre-planned that we were going to learn how to scrub, but it's actually fairly difficult. And you're incorporating a lot of stuff that you naturally wouldn't usually bundle together.
I'm visualizing me being a trail dog now.
Oh yeah, they get real low.
You're like,
and their legs just go straight out. Yeah. Just keep thinking corner off lip.
Like dog.
Like a dog. Go straight forward like dog and land like dog.
Do I get a treat like a dog?
I'll give you a treat. I've got that cookie with sprinkles in the bag. Yep. All right. Or you've reverted back to a little bit more of your own style so that you can get your head around it gradually, and then you'll understand the arc you're after rather than just trying to do the whole thing on its own. Because
I might try and learn like the shape.
Yeah.
By picking up, but just like popping before I'm at the top of the lip.
Yeah.
And then I can gradually try and replicate that like movement but by trying to break traction up the lip and on the top.
It looked more like when you got air that time and you did your little back wheel popper, it just looked more like Nick. And
Yeah.
I think you need to still be yourself when you ride your bike, because it sometimes, like when you learn like brand new stuff like this, it can be so alien, it just like messes your head up. And then when you incorporate a bit of your own jazz in there, it just looked like you were more comfortable. Your body language looked more relaxed.
For some bizarre reason, it's less daunting to want to lean the bike over if it's in the air than not in the air.
Yeah, well, because your instincts are telling you that if you're leaned over when you're not in the air, your bike's just going to shoot off in the wrong direction. Let's move on and do something else so that you can give your brain a break, because I think you've given this a good run for your money. And I also, you know, this isn't like, we didn't know what we were going to be doing today, but you definitely didn't think you'd be learning how to scrub.
Can I try one more time?
Yeah, of course you can try one time. Oh, they grow up so fast and big. Loose rock garden here, nearly at the top of the track now. It's going to be interesting. I don't really know. The big loose rock gardens, in time they find themselves and the rocks just go where they should. They're like teenagers, you can't really control them, and the more you try to fight them, they just go the opposite way. But you can pick up rocks on the track and do that.
That actually doesn't look so bad from here.
Oh, yeah, it fell off the track. And then you got this steep thing here, but this is pretty easy. I mean, you've gotten to walk up it, but now you have to ride down it blind with me behind you. Yeah. We're basically at the top, Nick. Alright guys, so we've made it to the top of the track now. I'm just going to guess that this track is called Pandemic, because I found that there was basically one track called Pandemic in every mountain range in Dublin and Wicklow after various lockdowns. So I'm going to follow Nick. Only section he's ridden so far is the scrubby mound thing. So
The most difficult section.
so yeah, the most difficult section, the mound. So now you just have to do easy sections like the loose rock garden of doom,
Yeah.
the rock steep slab into corner of terror,
Gravity's not your friend section.
and then that steep section into the really skinny bit, and you're the size of an American fridge.
Oh yeah. Is that big or little?
You're big, it's little.
Okay. Wait, which? The rock garden or the fridge?
If you like that weird, what's that movie where someone gets sucked into something really tiny but they're huge? And they make the noise.
Alice in Wonderland.
Getting sucked into Jumanji.
Oh yeah.
When you come down that steep section, it's like you getting sucked into Jumanji, because you're going to have to get real small real quick.
Am I Robin Williams or the little hairy fella?
You'll be Robin Williams, because he's actually hairy too, and I'll be the little monkey, because I'm smaller than you.
This sounds like a good show.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen.
Nick and the monkey.
HBO, if you're listening.
Anyway, yeah, we're going to do a full run, walk back up and have our lunch break. We've got some delicious sandwiches and water, and we've broken a can of Coke, so we only have one Coke left. Following Nicky B, Cardi B's brother, down Pandemic.
Are you good?
Yep, we're good as we're going to get. Ride her up. Oh, man, that is actually heinous. That's like your friend that you have to bring along to a party, but you just don't like. I don't know how I got that gap. Yeah, it's good. Fair play for fitting through all these gaps. Oh my god. Oh! Oh my god, Nick! You don't talk, you just concentrate, you lunatic. Alright, ride her up. You need a sandwich, quick. Yo! Oh, it's your zone! Whoa. Nice. I'm trying to follow you really closely so I can't actually see the track. Oh! Oh yeah, that double's coming up. Oh! Oh! Oh, Nick.
Oh man.
Holy. You alright?
Oh man.
I've never seen you crash like that ever. Holy shit. And that's why we always wear a helmet. You have broke your hand guard and you've bent your lever of your brake, but I reckon we can heat that up and jimmy it. And then I'm going to straighten loosen off your stem, check your headset, and then straighten it again.
I guess I was trying to look ahead to where the jump was, and I just didn't really see that tree. But I don't know, did I hit that tree or the smaller one?
Nick, you hit the tree all the way back there. I backed off a bit because I thought, oh, I don't want to crowd him. And then I just saw your handlebar catch that white tree, and then you started to go full on over the bars from all the way up there until you hit that tree with your entire body. So you hit the tree all the way back there and went over the bars from there to here. Yeah. That's about 7 or 8 bike lengths. Poor Nick's really giving himself a big whack there, and he was completely winded and he's back, or his ribs aren't great. So I'm running back up now to get the bags and everything, and then we're going to just slowly make our way back to the car and we'll assess it from there. But it could be a hospital visit. It's the biggest crash he's had ever, possibly, and I'm just hoping I wasn't distracting him, because it's fun and games, but you don't want your friends crashing at the expense of you making jokes. So fingers crossed he's going to be okay, maybe in an hour or two, or worst case scenario we're just going to have to go to the hospital and get him checked. Definitely didn't expect something like this, but you never do. These things do happen, they're part of the sport, and he's a tough guy, so if he's wincing at the pain, it's fairly serious. Bag, head down now, find Nick and get him to the car. Kind of scary now, like there, knowing what happened to him. Alright, man. How are you feeling here?
Oh man.
It's getting worse?
Kinda.
Alright. Do you think you can get on the bike and sit and roll it? Okay. So you can do the outro. I didn't think we were going to actually make a video after that colossal impact, but yeah.
I survived.
You survived. You're in one piece. You're not supposed to be laughing because of your ribs. Do you want to give us a little breakdown of the broken body?
The body's actually surprisingly not actually officially broken, as far as I know.
It's crazy.
Apparently, it's one of the orthopedic surgeons needs to check the x-rays to make sure there's no hairline fractures.
Or they haven't missed something huge. They're like, oh, your femur.
But apparently I'm all good, which is awesome news.
It's pretty impressive.
Consider, because initially I thought I broke my back.
Yeah, no, it was pretty grim. Do you think the fact that you sink when you get into the sea means you've very dense bones and that's what saved you?
Judging by the size of my ankles, as you've experienced,
yeah.
while trying to help me take my trousers off.
Yeah, I basically it got to a point where Nick was in so much pain I had to help him out of some of his clothes to get him into a car and get him to the hospital. But it was really hard taking his trousers off because his ankles are so big.
Junk ankles.
Yeah.
So,
But look,
yeah,
it all stood well to you.
it all worked well. I guess there's benefits of being
A unit.
oversized.
Yeah.
I don't know if it helps or not. But
Yeah, actually, I'd be interested to see what everyone watching this thinks. Like, do you think it's beneficial being very big because then you can take impacts, or because you're big, the impact is bigger and you'd be better off being small? It's kind of a weird one, isn't it? But that impact's shocking.
it hurt a lot.
Yeah.
I don't recommend it
Biggest one to date?
ever.
Yeah. Good man. Good man.
Thanks to Dave, by the way, from Carrick for being sound.
Yeah.
And to Dan, obviously, for helping me.
Yeah, thanks to Mill, Dave and Kim for the painkillers at the bottom of the track and the info of what to do with this guy. And yeah, I guess we won't see Nick on the bike for another week or two, or maybe longer. And we'll have to ease back in straight away in the same section when he gets back.
Yeah, hit it first time blind.
All right, thanks Nick.
See ya.
See ya.